Anfernee Simons has been on absolute fire as of late, as he has taken advantage of his newly acquired starting role ever since the news that Damian Lillard would be out of the lineup due to an abdomen injury he suffered. Over his last 5 games, the team has been without their starting backcourt in Lillard and McCollum, so this left the door wide open for the up-and-coming 22-year-old that had been showing flashes of his potential all year long. Simons had been given a starting spot in each of those games, and he managed to average incredible stats over that period, as he had 27.8 points per game, 7.6 assists, shot over 50% from the field, and 44.6% from 3, and above all, a team that has been struggling all season to win games. They went 3-2 in that stretch, which I know can obviously be much better, but the team currently has a record of below 500, so I think they'll take what they can get, as it also snapped a 4-game losing streak. With these games also came one where he managed to battle it out with one of the top guards in the NBA in Trae Young, and ended up breaking the Blazers franchise record by being the youngest player to score more than 40 points, scoring 43 in that game while obtaining 7 assists, but more importantly, they got the win as well. This recent stretch for Simons is not something to both take lightly or overreact to, as we would all need to see him be able to pull off performances like these consistently before we come up with possible scenarios the Trailblazers need to make. With that being said, Simons could be an ideal candidate for the team to build around if they were to decide to blow things up and start rebuilding the franchise by moving some of their key pieces on this team for draft assets and young players. Anfernee Simons is just 22 years young with boatloads of potential up his sleeve, as he is a 6'3" guard with a 6'7" wingspan that has an absurd 41-inch vertical that many people believe is much higher than what was recorded at the combine, simply looking at some of the dunks he's been able to pull off if you factor in his height. Also, only a small percentage of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed, so if you end up liking this video, consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind. Enjoy the video. Simons has also looked extremely confident on the floor given his opportunity, where he honestly did a very good job of running the offense, whether it was using his shifty handle to get by his defender to either take the open 3 he created or drive to the rim, or even just simply setting up his teammates for easy baskets. Already this season, we have seen a massive improvement in Simons' game from last year, which is in large part due to his tremendously increased role this season that has now evolved to a starting spot on this team because of their injuries. He's still only been able to start 8 of the 35 games he's played in this season, although he has doubled his points per game average from last year, shoots the best field goal percentage of his career, albeit his rookie season where he had the exact same percentage. He just only took 3 shots a game compared to the 11 now, almost shoots 40% from 3 on the year, and almost 95% from the free throw line. As the season has gone on, Simons has gotten increasingly confident on the floor, and this has benefited basically every aspect of his game. His confidence shooting the ball is at an all-time high. He's been able to have a greater understanding of the defenses rotating onto him, which in hand has made him a better playmaker, and just his overall ability to run this Portland offense has been incredibly dynamic, as he is a very flashy player that has a lot of quickness and versatility to his game. He has obviously shown to make the occasional flashy play, but already in his short tenure as a starter, he has proven to have done a very good job of leading this team, something that will also improve the more reps he gets as a starter and the more trust that's put into him. Honestly, if you want my opinion, I have always been very keen on Simons breaking out as a prospect, and I really do think that this could be his breakthrough moment where he could wind up putting up these kinds of games given his role remains consistent, as he is a player that has extreme upside that has been showing flashes of being the guy that can be the cornerstone of this franchise. This Portland Trailblazers team is seriously underperforming this year, and it is slightly due to the wild year that it has already been with COVID and the fact that they've had multiple injuries on their roster, yet this team is going to need to make decisions about their future sometime soon. Damian Lillard is 31 years old and CJ McCollum is 30, and both of them are already starting to make the decline in terms of their play on the court. And yes, it is just a short sample size of the season that may not determine the full story, yet this team has some thinking to do, as both of these guys still have value to their names that many contenders or even potential contenders would give up large packages in order to acquire them. Again, both of these guys are currently injured, so that doesn't help them, and I also don't want anyone to think that I'm bashing these guys in any way, as I honestly respect both of them heavily, especially since they've both been so loyal to the Portland Trailblazers. However, looking at Dame's numbers in particular, he is shooting his worst field goal percentage in his career by a mile this season. The same could be said for his three-point percentage, and he's averaging the least points per game since 2015. The things that made Damian Lillard were his incredible shooting efforts, as he's always been a top scorer in the NBA for some time now, but on top of that, it has been the efficiency that he was scoring at that made him so special. For McCollum, his season isn't a drastic difference like Lillard's has been, yet he still isn't having his greatest one yet either, and it is getting clearer that the windows of these guys performing in their primes are starting to fade. It's going to be very interesting what the team does this year with the trade deadline looming, as this Trailblazers team has been a constant playoff team that has always fallen short. However, they only got those playoff opportunities mostly because of how well Dame and CJ were playing alongside each other, and they also got some help from the fact that Damian Lillard has some of the most iconic buzzer beaters to win a series in playoff history. Since they weren't able to make it to the finals or win a championship when these two were in their primes together, it doesn't look like it's going to be any easier, especially if both of them continue down the path they're heading towards. And yes, I do understand that some of those Trailblazers teams had a shot at doing special things. They just ran into some very difficult competition in the playoffs, like the infamous Golden State Warriors in that team's heyday, but the path to a championship is just as hard as it was back then, and if they truly want to win championships sometime soon, large changes are going to need to be made. A lot of factors play into why the team won't trade Dame and or CJ McCollum, and half of that would be because of the fact that they've been so loyal to the franchise, yet I could see that obviously changing if either one of them also believe it's time for them to move their separate ways, to try and play for a team in strong contention to win, and decide that they wouldn't be opposed to being traded. Another thing that has been rumored as of late could also be to trade Simons for a piece to try and win now, and I'm honestly incredibly against that for multiple reasons, as one, this team has tried to do that many times and failed, and a perfect example was their attempt to get Norman Powell last year, and don't get me wrong, Powell is a fantastic player. The team just gave up Gary Trent Jr., who is a young and talented prospect who is now excelling on the Toronto Raptors and looks to be a large part of their future. But I'm also against it because I don't know if Lillard and McCollum can play at that level they were once at, making them go quote-unquote all in rather pointless. I want to know your thoughts on this whole Trailblazers situation down below in the comments, as this is definitely going to be one of the biggest teams to look out for as the trade deadline approaches to see what they do. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to hit that like button as it helps the video get shared along YouTube's algorithm, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more NBA content like this that I'll be posting multiple times per week. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a great night.